terrifies me that if we don't take back the House as Democrats, or if we don't somehow wrestle control back and have one functioning branch of government, that he's going to take it as a mandate. And if he hasn't gotten off the rails already, he's going to go so far off of it, and there will be no bringing it back on track. And that really, really scares me. I feel like our democracy is truly under attack right now. But there's so many good people that are stepping up. And I really cannot stress enough to people to pay attention and to vote all the way up and down the ballot. I mean, the judges matter at the local level as much as they do at the Supreme Court level. And the clerk of courts, I mean, I look at the people, especially in Montgomery and Greene County, which is most of my district. There are so many good people running, and most of them are first time. Not all of them, but they're all bound by a love for the community, a love for their county, their state, their country, but mostly a love of democracy. And especially in our case in Montgomery County, I tell everybody to vote for everyone on the Democratic ticket, not because they're Democrats, but because I've gotten to know each and every one of them, and I know how much they care. And I just don't think you can go wrong when you vote for somebody that truly cares.
If our listeners would like to help out your campaign, how can they do that? GasperForCongress.com. It's G as in George, ASPER. There's a little handy-dandy blue donate button at the upper right-hand side of the screen, and magic happens when you click it. You get to help out a candidate that cares. There's opportunities to sign up for volunteering. I mean, we need volunteers. We need people to do donor research, to stuff envelopes, to make phone calls. A lot of the work, once they're trained, they can do it at home or wherever they want, the coffee shop. Mostly it's tell everybody you know about your favorite candidates, and don't just assume that you can only talk to people in the district. You look at as we jokingly call it, the left coast. You know, California especially, there's so many Democrats that are in safe districts. But this is an opportunity to help a race where people can really make a difference. You know, the resources may not go so far or may not be as necessary in some of those races, but they can make a huge difference to a race like mine. And I used to be, nervous about, why would somebody from outside the state get involved in a race? And that's just, why are they trying to get involved and influence things? But it's basically, like I say, it comes down to we got to protect the House, and we got to take it back. And so I just encourage people, if you see our stuff on social media, share it. If you have a rich uncle somewhere, let them know about us. And again, vote up and down the ballot. All right. Well, Theresa, thank you so much for talking to me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's a godsend for a little race like ours.
I think Ohio is the underreported story of 2018.
And you know what? Most of us in Ohio really want the chance to redeem ourselves for 2016. So I can think of 5 or 6 races that are, if they're not targeted already, they should be. I mean, we could potentially take, I'd say, 6 or 7 seats in a gerrymandered state. That's pretty cool.
I am here in this segment with Kim McCarthy, who is running for the Ohio House of Representatives in District 73. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kelly.
Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, so I'm going to start with my usual first question, which is tell me a little bit about your background, which I've read up a little bit on and is very fascinating. And then why are you running for State House?
Right. Okay. So I guess I might as well get the accent thing out of the way because everyone is always like, what is that accent? I came here to America from Australia back in 1994. And I ended up marrying someone here in Ohio and ended up, now I'm an American. I've raised my 3 kids here. Yeah, so part of the reason I'm doing this is because I come from another country, because a lot of the things that I'm fighting for are actually things that I grew up with. When we start looking at things like universal health care, tuition-free college, living wages, those are things that I have experienced in a community and in a country. And, I know the benefit that those kinds of things bring to a society. So that's part of why I'm running, if I can jump to the second question of why I'm running. But yeah, so really for me getting involved politically in things kind of started in 2011 when the Occupy Wall Street movement began. After the collapse of our economy and Wall Street getting off scot-free. And when I heard that movement and saw what they were saying, speaking about the corporate corruption in our government, the takeover of our policies by corporate entities that really spoke to me. And it lit a fire inside of me that's still going right now. And so since 2011, I have been an engaged citizen in my government at the state level, the federal level, and then even down to the county level, where I did after the November 16 election when I kind of freaked out, probably like the rest of the country. I started to say to myself, what more can I do? So I actually started going to my local county commission weekly meeting, and that just opened up a whole new world of politics to me. I was able, as a citizen, to start questioning them on their decisions and standing up at the podium and asking them to explain themselves. And as you can probably guess, it didn't go over too well with them. So when they ultimately changed the guidelines regarding these public meetings, they changed them in a way to eliminate and prevent us from asking them questions on the public record. So that just really got me fired up even more so. And yeah, I looked at these people up there and I was like, I can do that. These people are not representing me and they're not representing my friends. So yeah, it was a whole combo of really being an engaged citizen that led me to decide that this is going to be my next step, because there's nothing in that process that frightens me. And yeah, I see what they do and I know I can do it better. So I guess that's why I'm running.
That's great. And so what are some of the issues that, you mentioned a few of them briefly, but what are the issues that are really driving your campaign and that you're hearing from people as you're talking to them around the district?
I think pretty much what I just mentioned, healthcare is a huge one. And I am out there knocking on doors 6 days a week. I've been speaking to thousands upon thousands of people, and healthcare is a huge one, whether you are in whatever your income bracket is. People are really struggling to keep on top of premiums, deductibles ever increasing, pharmaceutical costs, etc. The fact that our real wages here in Ohio have not risen for decades is really putting a strain on the middle and working class families of this district. I would also suggest that one of the reasons for that strain is because here in Ohio, we have reduced taxes significantly over the last decade or so on those who can most afford to pay. So we have decimated our tax base, and we no longer have the funding to keep our schools in good condition, our roads, our social services, etc. So with that reduction in the taxes that we receive as a community at the county level and the city level, our real estate taxes have gone through the roof in an attempt to make up for that shortfall. So that has a huge impact on the fixed income people in our community, which is obviously a lot of senior citizens. The taxes here in Ohio have been shifted over the last 15 years onto the middle and working class people. And that is preventing them from living a life with dignity, frankly. It's becoming a massive burden, and people are just falling behind day after day after day.
One of the theories of how to run in a district that's been traditionally Republican, as yours has, is, to try to be as centrist as possible. You're not really trying to go for the center. You're really sort of embracing progressive ideals. And you're also not hiding the fact that you're an immigrant. Of course, you have the accent, but also, your logo has a kangaroo on it. So I'm wondering how your campaign is being received as you're talking to these thousands of people. Are people embracing that with you? What are you hearing?
Yeah, I am definitely targeting swing voters in our canvassing. So we are speaking to people who are either affiliated with the R's, the D's, and then the massive group, the largest group, the unaffiliated. So when I'm on their doorstep speaking about the corruption in our government, how our elected officials have forgotten that their role is to build strong communities and look after the people that elect them, and then addressing the economic impact of, the health insurance, the stagnant wages, people across the board are agreeing with me. I can't guarantee after they close the door and look further into my campaign that some of the more progressive platform stances that I have, they could be a little bit too much for people, I'm sure. But I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that the centrist platform is what is going to get Democrats back into office. I think a truly progressive one is the only antidote to the far-right leanings that we now have. Yeah, people are responding well. I couldn't be happier. They love Australia too, I might say. As an immigrant, across the board, Americans love Australia. There is a unique relationship between our two countries that is probably unique between us. Maybe the UK somewhat, but no, people love the kangaroo. They love the Southern Cross on the state of Ohio, if you noticed that as well. It's all good.
So you had approached me with the idea for this episode about these 5 women who are sort of running in tandem, combining forces to run for office. So can you talk a little bit about what that means to your campaigns to be able to sort of join forces a little bit and get support from each other?
Yeah, that is my background. I'm a community organizer. That's what I've been doing for the last decade. So when I decided to run for office and made my actions into an official campaign, collaborating with others and bringing everyone else along with me was just a natural, there was no decision for me. That's how I operate, and that's what we're doing. So I know you've spoken with Cyndi and Susan, who are running for the commission and clerk of court. They have trouble getting people interested in their campaigns, right? Because it's all the way down ticket. People lose, even the state house race, right? I have trouble getting people to care about it. Everyone's attention is at the very top. So I've had flack from people to say that, we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be doing that. Campaigns are supposed to be independent, look after yourself. But I just don't operate in that way. I see this seat that I'm running for, I want to make this a collective seat so that when I get in there, I'm actually representing the people that put me there. And I think that has to happen across the board. Our campaigns are grassroots, and we should all be working together to get us all elected, because that's going to make my job easier when I get in there. If I have an ally in the commission, an ally above in Congress, etc. So, yeah, there's no choice for me. This is the way to do it, in my opinion.
I love that, and I think it's so important. There's a definite lack of women representing in the Ohio State House right now, for sure. Yeah. But, of course, we know at all levels of government, women do not have equal representation right now. And so I think being able to support each other's campaigns can really help that.
Yeah. And, as women, I think that's what we do, right? I was at a house party last night with Theresa Gasper, actually, and she made the comment that when women run, traditionally, we do it to make change. But when men run, they're doing it to gain power. And I think that's a huge distinction. And, obviously, across the board, it may not be true in every instance, but overall, yeah, I think that's what happens, and that's why we're more open to collaborating and helping each other, because we want change. It doesn't have to be us individually that make it. Anyone can do it, so we need to support all of us.
So I'm tempted to drive over to Ohio this weekend because you're going to be at a popcorn festival, which just sounds amazing. I love popcorn. May be my favorite food in the world. And I didn't know there was anywhere with a popcorn festival.
Yeah.
But can you talk a little bit about those sorts of events, those kind of fairs and festivals and things that make up small town life and what those sorts of things mean for a campaign?
Yeah, well, there's certainly a different outlook on the popcorn festival for me this year as opposed to the previous years when I just take my kids and enjoy the popcorn, enjoy the festivities. Well, I have 70,000 voters in my district. So obviously I can't knock on every door. I don't have the funds to get in front of their TV, in front of them on the TV. So yeah, community events like this are a great opportunity to get out there in our T-shirts and just be a presence, because let's face it, I would love for every person at that popcorn festival, when they see me, my campaign, to be like, oh, Kim, let me ask you this. Let me see where you're going to stand on this. But unfortunately, most people don't have a great interest in this, regardless, even when the impact on their lives is significant. So hopefully in this casual environment, we can at least try to educate some people and